There are many debates that happen on the internet, but one recently has piqued my interest. Just one. I was scrolling through my For You page, as everyone does, and then I found it. The question, the one to end everything. What are there more of? Doors or wheels? And I thought I was the only one that could answer this.
So TikTok is having a debate. What are there more of? Doors or wheels, baby? I haven't decided yet because I need to use my detective skills to get to the bottom of this.
So I thought I'd ask my loyal followers on Discord, my own Discord server, what they thought about doors versus wheels. So, with that insight, I decided that maybe I should start thinking about what people most experience, because that would probably inform a lot of their decisions. What do people just think of more? So I thought I'd go around my house and have a look.
So we have this. Now this is your classic door. It's doory. You've probably got one or two of them. I've got about, I'd say 10 collectively, including outside areas. But they're not the biggest source of doors in your household. That's what these are. Cabinets. You probably got a lot of them, a lot more than every other kind of door that you have. You have them here in the kitchen, you have them in the bathroom, you have them in like a TV stand, you find them everywhere. But some of them have a few extra properties that you might ask yourself, well, is this one or two doors? And that's these, the corner cabinet, because they lead to the same place, but they're two separate things with two separate lots of hinges. So is that one or two doors? I guess this question could be added to like double doors as well, but I guess we'll get to that later. Yes, hi. Hi there. Hi. Thank you for let me talk. There are probably many places that you haven't considered doors, mainly kind of these small like cupboards, that's what I'm calling it, or display cabinets. They also have doors, but I feel it's now time to go to something a bit more controversial, so just leave me in here for now. Like fridges, ovens, washing machines, Tupperware, you name it. I don't know if these are classed as doors or not. I mean, they have hinges, right? Take a drawer, for example, because it's not a door. I mean, it has a hinge. It's not... kind of. But I'd say it's more akin to a basket than a drawer. I don't really think you could consider it a drawer. So what about wheels? Well, there really aren't any in the house. I mean, you could consider cars, they're probably the go-to one, but honestly, they're more discreet in houses. Take a doorknob, for example. That technically is a wheel and axis system, although it's kind of controversial to say, because you wouldn't necessarily look at a door and think, yeah, a good old wheel. The only other thing I can think of is that there are things around the house that you'd probably find more discreet in your electrical system. For example, Xbox controllers or mouse scroll wheels. But honestly, it kind of gets into the same area of being slightly controversial for my liking. So I'm honestly afraid that this is a huge loss on the part of wheels, I've got to be honest. So I guess it's time to move on. Wait a minute. So I'm sure that those of you on the wheeled side of things have been screaming that LEGO produce over 700 million tyres a year. That is more than any tyre manufacturer out there. But here's the thing. LEGO don't just produce wheels that have tyres. Most cars have steering wheels. And that goes on every car, more or less. And there are also cars and bits of LEGO that use wheels that don't even have tyres. So, LEGO, Honestly, you're probably winning this debate, no matter what, I don't know. Or you might also be thinking, if you're on the doors side, is that Lego also produced doors. In fact, this car here, which is Colson car, has a movable door. However, if you were to give me a statistic saying this is how many doors that Lego produce, I'd have to second guess it, because the doors on this particular vehicle are actually not just used for doors. In fact, they are also used on this. But a piece of this that's used is actually a door. They use a door for this. And what is this door used for? Well, it's used for wrapping paper. So, are statistics really that generous? Can we really trust these statistics? And what classes as a door? Is it a door if it's being used outside of its normal purpose? I think it's time we finally ask ourselves, what is a door? So let's look at the definition of a door. A door is a hinged, sliding or revolving barrier at the entrance of a building, room or vehicle, or in the framework of a cupboard. And that pretty much answers the question to whether doors are or aren't doors. They're not doors. Don't call them doors or I'll door you. It also invalidates maybe windows. Windows is a difficult discussion because technically it is a barrier between the outside and the inside, but it's not like an entrance. So again, it's still debatable. So honestly, I think I've got to turn to the internet to delve deeper into this situation.
Okay, so...
Hang on a second. This chair has wheels.
So yeah, chairs, they have wheels. In fact, I'd argue that an awful lot of office chairs have an awful lot of wheels. Therefore, in office buildings, although they have an insane amount of doors, they also probably have an insane amount of chairs. And this isn't the only type of wheelie chair, is it? Because obviously you've got wheelchairs and mobility scooters, which are also chairs. And you've also got stadium chairs, which, although I'd say is debatable, but the ones that like have the seat that flops up and down, wheel and axis system, thank you. And we all know how big stadiums are, so the amount of wheels are insane.
Okay, so I get it. Most people say that cars, they got 4 doors, they got 4 wheels, they cancel each other out. It's completely wrong. As we've established earlier, cars mostly have car wheels, which count as a wheel. So they've got 5 wheels, right? So that's a net worth of 1 wheel. Unless you include more, for example, doors, there's a boot that can be considered that. There's the bonnet, which also goes up, and, you know, there's also the glove compartment. Yes, that's right. Cars, actually, like, maybe +2. I'd argue it's very debatable, but mostly I think it's a +2. So, but that's, I guess that's also not the only mode of transport that you can get. For example, there's motorbikes, there's skateboards, there's normal bikes, there's, you know, scooters, also shopping trolleys. Shopping trolleys. I've got to get out of this car.
Of course, how could I forget that shopping trolleys exist? Supermarkets are absolutely huge, and loads of people go to them. In fact, everyone probably goes to them for shopping, but they're huge. And to fill out that space, they have an awful lot of shopping trolleys. And if they're even like 2 doors down from each other, they'll still have their own lot of shopping trolleys, which means that the number is absolutely mind-boggling for how many wheels there are. But also, you've got to consider that shopping trolleys often go missing and probably get taken by someone else. I know a few people that may have shopping trolleys, not me, otherwise I'd be doing this bit in a shopping trolley. That brings us to the question of what happens to broken shopping trolleys? Or broken wheels, in fact, broken doors. At what point does a door and a wheel no longer become a wheel? And what time does it stop counting as a wheel? Because if that's the case, maybe this will never be answered. And honestly, if it's a difference between a few thousand, how can it be answered? Thousands are made a day and thousands may be lost a day. It may change between days who's winning. It kind of makes this difficult to answer.
The problem is, it's hard for the human brain to comprehend that there are just so many billions of wheels. Mostly because you don't see them, and you don't see them all at once. Whereas doors, you see a lot of doors in your everyday life. But does that mean there are more doors? Not necessarily. So, I think it's time to conclude.
Honestly, this rabbit hole is deeper than I dare to venture. And let's be honest, it's going to be covered better by other people. But as a great man once said, it is a privilege of lesser men to light the flames. And that's why I'm putting this under the gaming tab so MatPat can cover it on game theory. But now, I think it's time to finally say goodbye. I've reached my own conclusion, and it's time to go outside and touch some grass.
Are you a doll? Okay, that's good. I like that.